Welcome to the Deep Dive. Today we're diving into the record of Johnny Jack Kidwell. He's the current at-large representative for the Cherokee Nation, and he is up for re-election.
That's right. And, for at-large citizens, that means he represents Cherokee people living outside the main reservation boundaries.
Exactly. We've got this document here called the Kidwell Record, and it basically lays out his activities, his accomplishments over the last, 3.5 years.
Yeah, about that.
So our goal for this deep dive is really to kind of get to the heart of this document for you, the listener. We want to pull out the most important bits of information to help you understand his service and, what it might mean as you think about the election.
Makes sense.
Okay, so let's start unpacking his efforts, specifically support for at-large citizens. Looks like quite a bit happened there.
Absolutely. One of the sort of foundational things seems to be the establishment of the Cherokee Nation at-large Mutual Assistance, or CNLMA.
CNLMA, right.
Yeah, it's a national nonprofit. It's specifically set up to assist at-large citizens who are, facing various hardships. They've got a website, cnnail.org, if folks want more detail. But the key thing is it's a direct safety net for citizens across the country.
That does sound pretty crucial. And it looks like this focus goes beyond just CNLMA, right? Like expanding existing Cherokee Nation programs too.
Yes, exactly. For instance, the hearing aid program that was formalized with Legislative Act 0722, basically legislation backing it up.
Right.
And that's been expanded to include more at-large citizens. Similarly, funding for youth sports teams and livestock sales. That's been extended.
Extended where?
To those living in counties that are, contiguous, directly bordering the Cherokee Nation reservation.
Okay. So bringing those opportunities closer for some families.
Right. Closer to home for many at-large families.
It's good to see that geographic consideration.
Yeah.
But it's not just location, is it? The record mentions the clothing assistance program.
Yeah, that one's interesting.
It now includes all at-large students, no matter where they live.
Yeah.
That feels really tangible. Direct support for kids and families.
Precisely. And, that support for essential needs, it carries over into the Emergency Utility Assistance Program, too.
Also expanded.
Yes, to those same contiguous at-large counties we just mentioned.
Gotcha.
So if you live in one of those bordering counties facing a utility crisis, this program is, more accessible now.
It's interesting how these expansions seem kind of tailored, addressing different needs.
Yeah, different facets of need. And beyond these ongoing programs, it looks like there was specific direct support after major events.
That's right. The document highlights disaster relief funds,
Okay.
specifically for at-large families hit by the hurricanes in Florida and the wildfires in Maui.
Wow. So reacting to unforeseen crises even far away.
Yeah, it shows a responsiveness, doesn't it, to citizens no matter where they are. That commitment nationwide.
That kind of support must be vital for families dealing with something like that, so far from, the nation's center. Definitely. Especially when you're facing hardship far from home.
Okay, another area that really stands out is education. The numbers here are pretty big. Over $40.6 million in college scholarships for at-large students since 2020. Plus increased funding and, it says, broader access. That's a lot.
It is a substantial commitment, yeah. And that kind of investment, it can be a real game changer.
How so?
Well, increased scholarship access empowers more at-large citizens to go for higher education. That obviously opens doors economically.
Right.
And it also contributes to the overall strength of the Cherokee Nation long term.
Makes sense. It's also interesting to see a focus on the experience of health care for at-large citizens. The record mentions budgeting for new healthcare patient experience team positions, specifically for helping at-large citizens navigate the system. Why is that kind of dedicated support needed?
That's a really crucial question.
Yeah.
Because accessing tribal healthcare services, it can be more complex for at-large citizens. You've got distance, different local healthcare systems.
Right.
So these dedicated roles could offer really invaluable help. Understanding eligibility, finding services, navigating the whole landscape. It could genuinely make a difference in health outcomes and just, peace of mind.
Okay. But it's not all about direct services, is it? There's something here about a tri-council resolution mandating tribal nationality on museum display tags.
Yes. That was passed unanimously.
So it's not direct financial aid, but what's the significance, especially maybe for at-large artists?
It's about visibility, recognition. For any Cherokee artist, wherever they live, having their tribal affiliation clearly shown with their work, it helps ensure their cultural identity is acknowledged. celebrated even in the broader art world.
Mm,
It's a powerful statement, really, about the enduring presence and contributions of Cherokee people.
I can see that. And it seems like that cultural focus ties into the expanded funding for at-large language and history initiatives, too.
Exactly. Keeping our language alive, understanding our history that's vital for our identity as Cherokee people, wherever we are. So putting more funding into these initiatives specifically for at-large citizens, it supports those connections to our heritage right across the country.
Okay. The record also points to expanding community impact grants. These go to at-large community orgs participating in the CCO program.
Right, the Community Care Organization Program.
Okay, so for those maybe not familiar, what are CCOs and why is expanding these grants significant?
So CCOs are basically local groups. They partner with the Cherokee Nation to deliver various services, programs right in their own communities.
Gotcha.
Expanding these grants to include at-large CCOs means that those community initiatives, organized by at-large citizens for at-large citizens, can get more financial backing. It strengthens those local efforts outside the reservation.
It really feels like there's also been a push to just keep at-large citizens informed and connected.
Yeah, definitely seems that way.
The record mentions things like expanded programs wherever we are, legislative updates, town halls, plus expanded free subscriptions to the Cherokee Phoenix newspaper for everyone,
Yeah.
and more direct communication, like text alerts and videos. How crucial are those channels for people spread out geographically?
Oh, incredibly important. Communication is absolutely key. Making sure at-large citizens feel connected to the government, know what services are available, what's happening.
Right.
These expanded channels really help bridge that physical distance. They foster a sense of belonging, of participation.
Now, here's something that really jumped out at me.
Yeah.
The record lists several areas where at-large citizens were included for the first time,
Oh, yeah. Like what?
like the college internship program, the small business loan assistance program, and even the Housing Reauthorization Act of 2023.
Wow. Okay.
That feels like a pretty significant shift towards more inclusivity, doesn't it? What's the message there?
I think those first-time inclusions signal a really important shift. It's towards a more, let's say, comprehensive understanding of who the Cherokee Nation actually serves. By extending these opportunities, these resources, to at-large citizens, it shows a commitment to equity, making sure all Cherokee citizens, regardless of where they live, can access programs that benefit them.
And housing, especially, that's fundamental.
Absolutely. Including at-large areas in housing reauthorization is particularly noteworthy.
Looking ahead then, the record mentions proposed plans, paying for Medicare Part A, B, and D for eligible citizens, and expanding smaller programs aiming for full coverage and government reimbursement. That sounds potentially huge for healthcare benefits.
It could be transformative, yeah.
What are the potential implications, say, for at-large elders?
Well, if these plans actually come to fruition, it could have a profound impact. Many at-large elders and others eligible face significant health care costs.
Right.
This could mean greater financial security, better access to care, potentially easing a major burden and just improving quality of life. And that focus on government reimbursement, that suggests they're thinking strategically about making it sustainable.
Okay, let's shift gears a bit now. Let's talk about Johnny Jack Kidwell's background and experience. Seems like a pretty diverse set of experiences he brings.
Indeed. The record mentions he was born in Claremore, Oklahoma, grew up in Spavinaw. For many Cherokee citizens, knowing he has roots right there in the nation might create a sense of connection.
Sure. And then there's the military service. Over 20 years, retiring as a lieutenant commander, U.S. Coast Guard back in 2011.
Right.
20 years of service. That probably instills certain skills, certain perspectives, right?
Absolutely. A long military career often builds strong leadership, the ability to navigate complex systems, a focus on strategy, and just a deep sense of service to a mission bigger than oneself. And the record notes his diverse roles, operations, training, law enforcement, even overseas intelligence. That kind of breadth suggests adaptability, experience with multifaceted challenges.
He also has a really impressive academic record, a bachelor's in political science from OU, and then 3 master's degrees, education from San Diego State, an MBA from Southern Nazarene, and significantly, a master's in Indigenous Peoples Law from OU College of Law.
That's quite a commitment to education across different fields.
Yeah. How might that academic foundation, especially the Indigenous Peoples Law degree, inform his work as an at-large rep?
Well, That level of education shows a drive to understand complexity governance, law, education, business. But the master's in Indigenous Peoples law, that's particularly relevant.
Right.
It would give him a deep grasp of tribal sovereignty, federal Indian law, the whole unique legal and political landscape of the Cherokee Nation. That knowledge would be invaluable for advocating for at-large citizens' interests.
And it looks like his service hasn't gone unnoticed. Several personal decorations listed: Bronze Star, Meritorious Service Medal, campaign
Yeah.
medals, plus the Cherokee Warrior Medal of Patriotism in 2019, and induction into the Coast Guard OCS Wall of Gallantry in 2022. Those seem like pretty significant honors.
They certainly are. These awards really speak to his commitment, his achievements, both in his military career and in his continued service to the Cherokee people. Recognition from both the U.S. military and the Cherokee Nation that highlights dedication across different spheres of public life.
Okay. And finally, just on a personal note, the record says he currently lives in Tulsa, Oklahoma, with his wife Cherubel and their 2 sons. Does knowing that kind of personal detail offer any extra insight?
It provides another connection to the community. Probably gives him a firsthand feel for some of the opportunities and challenges facing Cherokee families today.
Right. So, okay, let's try to bring this all together. Based purely on this document, the Kidwell record, his time in office seems marked by a real focus on expanding support and resources for at-large citizens.
Yeah, that seems fair.
Through new things like CNLMA and broadening access to existing programs, healthcare, education, culture, across the board, really. And we've also seen he brings this substantial background military public service, plus a strong, very relevant academic foundation.
Exactly. The document presents a picture, of a representative who has actively worked to serve the diverse needs of the at-large population, and he's drawing on this multifaceted background service, leadership, legal understanding.
So this deep dive, like always, is just a concentrated look at the info in this document. There's always more context, more perspectives out there. But we hope this gives you, the listener, a clear, comprehensive understanding of the key points in Johnny Jack Kidwell's record of service as you consider your representation.
Yeah. And that leads us to maybe a final thought for you to consider. Reflecting on all this, the initiatives, the expansions, his background, what specific parts of an at-large representative's job are most critical to you, to your family? What priorities really resonate as you think about who will best represent your interests going forward?